welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry, and today I'd like to talk to you of another film that I believe is severely underrated. Jet Li, starring in the 2005 film, also along with Morgan Freeman and Bob Hoskins, Unleashed, also known as Danny the Dog. Story about a man being held captive for most of his life, being treated as a humanoid dog. Raised by his loan shark master, one day he gets released from his clutches and gets to experience the love, the affection of a family of a blind pianist named uh, played by Morgan Freeman. And this film came out in 2005. The trailer sold me as this gritty, graphic, violent martial arts movie, and I loved it when it came out. Loved it. I loved it. This is my favorite Jet Li film. And this is actually one of my favorite performances he's ever done. This film is also one of my favorite martial art movies. Now, this is a very different martial arts film. It's more of a dramatic action martial art film about really a man discovering himself, who he is, what he loves, and suddenly his love for pianos, where it actually plays a key moment in the film, or it plays a big part in the movie, where this character, Jet Li, plays a man child named Danny, who is fascinated by the sounds of pianos, and actually have always wanted one. And there's more to it that reveals itself later on to the film, where in fact that his mom as a kid, when he was a kid, as his mom was a well-known pianist, maybe also a teacher, and it was felt very integral in his life, and also he starts to remember the love he has for his mom, and well, just fragments of it. He doesn't remember fully of it, but he is later on in the film. He does become aware that he was taken from it, and his life, from what he'd been told by Bob Hoskins, has been a lie, and he's used Jet Li's character to basically be a slave, and it's actually a very tragic story. Um, and Bob Hoskins, one of the best actors, rest in peace, gave a very terrifying performance, but also a very somewhat um, menacing and manipulated performance as this character. I forgot the character's name. This character's name. I forgot his character's name. I forgot his character's name. Um, but this guy is ruthless. He's greedy. He's violent. He's vicious, and he does not care. Though he does have a little love spot for Danny, but it's kind of cruel that he's willing to because there's scenes in the film he's willing to murder him if need be if he doesn't get his way. Um, which sucks that he's basically an abusive parent. He's a very abusive. Um, Morgan Freeman comes in and he delivers one of the most nurturing performances I've seen from him in this movie. And when you see him and when he gives Danny this new life, and it's also fascinating where the more he gets to know Danny, the more he's noticing certain things about him, where certain social cues, certain interaction he tries to have with people might be a little off, but the more he gets to know him, the more he understands that this man, Danny, hasn't really had the best life. And you notice that in the film, and there's also, seen on DVD covers and trailers that he wears a collar around his neck, where it's kind of a psychological trigger, training his mind to when the collar comes off, he's basically told to be like an attack dog, to basically beat up and brutalize anybody he sees, and he is indestructible when he does it. And it's actually kind of intense, but it's also kind of scary where that happens. And this is actually one of the best openings I've seen in any film. When the credits pop up, you see Bob Hoskins whisper into Jet Li's ear, takes the call off and tells him like, "Get him." And the camera does like a visual pans out in a fast way. You see Jet Li just going at it. And I remember my experience seeing that in theaters. And there were quite a few people in that theater, actually, quite a few. And the part where he bashes this dude and knocks him down on the ground and jumps on his back and breaks it, everybody in the theater was like, "Ooh." It was intense. That was an intense action scene. I've never encountered an intense action sequence like that before. It was brutal. Actually, they were like twice. People were like shocked. The violence in this was shocking. Jet Li was shocking. The sequence in this was shocking. But when the scenes and when, in the scenes with Bob Hoskins, when he and Jet Li are interacting, they are also heartbreaking because you see the manipulation and that he's trying to do to Danny. You see it, and it's like you want him, like you want him to go. You want him. This dude plays the most despicable villain I've seen, and abusing a man who still has the mentality of a child, does not know any better, but eventually he starts to come around and understanding right from wrong, understanding his love for music, understanding who he is, what he wants to do, and tries to escape that life, which is actually inspiring. And to see his interaction with Morgan Freeman and then his stepdaughter in the film, you do want more of that, but also it does feel like it does take away because it feels like you're in that moment where Jet Li's having this time to really adapt into society and um, adapting to be with this new family. It does feel like it drags a little bit, but when it comes back to it, you just feel like this. Oh no, you feel for this character. You feel everything, and you're rooting for him to live his best life in the most profound way. Um, there's two cuts to this version. There's an unrated version and there's the regular version. I like the unrated version, even though when it's unrated, it doesn't add in well to the movie. It extends the fight scenes. It extends 3 fight sequences in the film, and I really wish they just kept those fight scenes in. I mean, it just when they added those scenes in there, it felt unnatural. Like the sound mixing, they just didn't put any sound mixing in it. Now I haven't bothered to watch this on. I mean, this is on HBO Max, but it's going to leave pretty soon, so I encourage everybody to watch it as soon or just rent it. You have to pay to rent it. So I don't know how they edited that into the unrated because the unrated version is on HBO Max. I think you have a week or two left to watch it. So I highly recommend anybody to watch it. Like go watch it. Um, Jet Li gave an Oscar-worthy performance, and he's not even considered for a nomination. This is my favorite film of his. This film was so good. I loved it. One of my favorite martial art movies. Unleash, also known as Danny the Dog. Have you seen it? Let me know in the comment section if you have. And let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.